All right. In this video, I want to look at let's see, the Kurt Cobain and the release of Smells Like Teen Spirit and the astrology around that, because there was some interesting things that happened during that time. And just a little background. I think I was like 15 when that song came out, and it really was quite groundbreaking, quite revolutionary. There was a spirit around that song captured, in particular, that really revolutionized everything. It took the whole. I mean, I just want to emphasize, if you weren't there, it's kind of hard to fathom what it was like. But just to give you a little background, I was young, and as all young people are, uh, in touch with the here and now of culture, especially relating to music and pop culture. What's new? What's alive? What's fresh? Right? And so heavy metal dominated the scene, the airwaves, the culture, the spirit of those times. It was heavy metal. It was, on all different, from all the different kinds of heavy metal. It was heavy metal ruled. Heavy metal was king. Then along comes Kurt Cobain. I want to say Nirvana. You could say Nirvana, but it was really Nirvana. Really was Kurt Cobain. I'm not much of a fan of Dave Grohl, and I don't really know much about Chris Novoselic. I mean, it was Kurt Cobain. It was just one man. And basically, I know the whole Nevermind album was, you know, epic and iconic, but it was really one song that broke through, and that was Smells Like Teen Spirit. So one man and one song basically destroyed the whole metal scene, if you will, like smashed it into a million pieces, and revolutionized the modern culture, the American culture, especially during those times. And astrologically, it's significant because we can look at what happened there. But it really was a big deal, and people who were really into metal hated it because there was nothing they could do about it. Like they were on top, and all of a sudden their music was just no longer relevant. It wasn't. It was old news, right? So I mean, it was super fascinating to be there at that time and to be within that context and framework to witness it happening. So I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna look at the astrology behind that. But first of all, let's look at Kurt Cobain because this is really significant. Now, Kurt Cobain has an incredible signature on his ascendant. The ascendant being the most sensitive point, the most true to self, because this is the plane of the Earth. And it's gonna rotate once every 24 hours. So each sign is gonna have what 2 hours, right? So that indicates when you're born that that's the most uh, representative of the self, because it's the soul has to choose a very narrow time period in order to be born, in order to have a certain ascendant. Now he chose Virgo ascendant with Pluto and Uranus on the ascendant. Uranus directly on the ascendant, Pluto a few degrees behind. And what's exciting about this is that this is right in the midst. I mean, I guess they were exact in maybe 1965, I think. So 2 years after the exact conjunction of Pluto and Uranus in Virgo, we all know what happened there. That was the hippie revolution. This is the hippie signature. Pluto and Uranus conjunct in Virgo, completely upending the puritanical Virgo archetype, which is like just everything is kind of tightly bound and pure and clean, and it was like the whole like 50s leave it to beaver kind of mentality that this conjunction really destroyed, and pulled heavily from the Piscean archetype, which it tends to do, especially Pluto, but Pluto and Uranus together even more so will go all the way through to the other side and pull in that Piscean archetype. And that's really what we see with the hippies. I mean, the hippies, you could say, were much more representative of Pisces than Virgo, but that's what was going on there. They were pulling in the Piscean archetype with this Pluto-Uranus conjunction. You know, peace, love, rock and roll, amen. You know, free love. Let's smoke a joint. That's Pisces, right? So he chose to have that signature right on his ascendant. Very, very powerful. It's both destructive and electric and creative, inventive, rebellious, and very Piscean as well. And he's got tons of planets in Pisces as well. Little stellium. So that alone made him extremely unique, let alone like this Moon Jupiter conjunction in Cancer in the 11th house, on the 11th house cusp. Moon and Jupiter love each other. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. Moon is in domicile in Cancer. This is an excellent, excellent conjunction. Very powerful. And it ties into this whole grand water trine with Neptune in Scorpio, along with Vesta, which is exact, and then South Node in Mars in Scorpio. Mars is extremely strong in Scorpio, as we know. And then this entire Pisces stellium with Venus exalted. Yeah, Mercury is debilitated in Pisces, but Venus is extending its strength to all these signs, all the planets, making this it's strengthening them all. If you have a planet that's in very good dignity, it's going to lend its strength to all the other planets there. Plus Saturn likes Venus. Saturn is exalted in Venus, the sign of Venus. And Venus is the planet of creativity. Venus conjunct Mercury is often very musical oriented. Yeah, and then its trine, its ruler, Jupiter. Here, Jupiter is almost exactly trine Venus. I mean, this is like such an excellent. Plus Neptune also trine. Exactly trine Chiron, but very close to Venus and Saturn, Mercury. It's the co-ruler of Pisces. So I mean, he's got a loaded chart, like super duper powerful. Mars trine the sun exact. I mean, this it's just like, wow, really, really amazing. So I mean, he was destined for greatness, no doubt. Mars in Scorpio and South Node in Scorpio in the second house, indicating his voice. That very powerful, raspy, incredibly strong voice. Really, I mean, this is a legendary chart. This is like a chart for the ages. Seventh house also has to do with being able to relate to other people. Anytime there's a lot of planets in the seventh house, it's not just relationships like one-on-one that's going to be accented. It's also, people in general, the masses. That's a relationship too. If you're on stage and you're relating to the crowd, it's a huge kind of relationship right there. Also 11th house is popularity in groups and networks, so I mean, it's just pretty incredible, his chart. Anyway, so what's really interesting is so that he brings in the signature of the hippie element and brings it into the modern age. Now I want to bring in the transit chart. I'm just going to move my here. Now this is September 10th, 1991. Enter Smells Like Teen Spirit. This is the release date of Smells Like Teen Spirit. This is the big breakthrough, big revolutionary song that changed everything. Before then, metal was king. Pluto and Scorpio. It's the signature of metal. Pluto is still in Scorpio here. What do we have here? Okay, remember the 60s where Uranus met Pluto? Well, Uranus is meeting Neptune now here in Capricorn, along with the North Node. So this is a triple conjunction in Capricorn. Very powerful. I just want to demonstrate, like, if we go back, like, I have it set to the month, we're going back in time month. See, they're separating. North Node now is at 26. These are 13, 16. So it's building up. It's a crescendo. You know, obviously Nirvana, my point is that Nirvana was taking this energy and building, because this energy was slowly gathering. And now let's go back. Now it's coming closer together with the North Node, with each other. Forget what month was it. Anyway, 1991. And now you can see that they're coming closer and closer together. So now North Node's right in the middle. This is October 10th. Smells Like Teen Spirit has already been released. But this energy is very powerful, right? And it's bringing in a different element, because Capricorn is quite different from well, what it was. You know, metal was dominated but solely by Pluto and Scorpio. But now we have Pluto and Scorpio along with Uranus, North Node, and Neptune in Capricorn. And now the whole grunge scene is born, and metal is out. But grunge still has Pluto and Scorpio. So it's still like bringing in this very heavy element. Like grunge was heavy, but like very earthy. Like grunge was like, you know, flannels and dirty long hair and just like, I don't care attitude. Like it sums it up in like one of the, what was it, Smell Like Teen Spirit was like, oh, whatever, never mind. You know, and their whole album was never mind. So like, you know, this is very like, I don't know, like heavy, but like careless attitude, destructive at the same time. But underlying that there were values, you know. But Nirvana was heavy on their moral values. If you look into the lyrics, there's something, it wasn't obvious. It wasn't outright preaching. But you know, they were conscientious. They were aware of social injustices and things like that. But on the surface, it was just like this heavy, earthy, dirty grunge. I mean, the music is called grunge, right? Grunge brings to mind something dirty, right? And so we have this triple conjunction in Capricorn, which is cardinal Earth. And then the Pluto and Scorpio brings in the watery, heavy element of it. And then Saturn obviously is in its own sign of Aquarius, which is co-ruled by Uranus. So that's adding to the mix. And then Saturn in Kurt Cobain's own chart is in Pisces, while Neptune is in Capricorn. So that he is relating here to his own chart, is relating to the transit chart, and this conjunction is lining up with his fifth house cusp, which is 22 degrees. So it's like less than 10 degrees. Well, 10 degrees depends on which planet, but like overall moving into his fifth house cusp, which is the house of creativity. And the Capricorn Lord, Saturn, is in the fifth house. So bringing in a lot of creativity. Fourth house also would indicate that it was activating his fourth house, which is home. and his home was Seattle, and Seattle did become very pronounced at that time, with Kurt Cobain. The point I'm trying to make is that this was very much spearheaded by Kurt Cobain, by the release of Smells Like Teen Spirit and the whole album, Nevermind. But he alone changed the whole scene. I mean, it was this one man with this incredible signature and this incredibly legendary, powerful charts during this very powerful time that changed the whole pop culture, the whole, culture, music culture, culture in general for the youth, now cemented in history. This is what it looks like. This is how astrology is made. This is how culture is made through astrology. Sorry, I misspoke. It's how culture is made through astrology, how we see it through astrology. We see that he was carrying the signature of the 60s, the hippie era, and he broke through during the next great conjunction of Uranus and Neptune. Uranus and Pluto, Uranus and Neptune, and North Node. Now, you might look for the next big star to break through, to have this conjunction on their ascendant, Capricorn ascendant, maybe 10 to 14 degrees at this time, and then when, I don't know, the next, let's see, there could be various dates in the future. I'm just speculating. Like maybe there'll be something like the next big musical break. I have no idea what's going on musically. Like I don't think anyone's making any music right now. But I don't listen to music. I don't listen to music anymore. I stopped listening to music. It's just not my thing anymore. But I think this is incredibly fascinating. How this worked out. The 60s meet the 90s. It was really cool. And the fact that I lived through it, I witnessed it. It was a very powerful time, the early 90s. I mean, after, Kurt Cobain broke through with Smells Like Teen Spirit and Nevermind, it wasn't the same. It went downhill. There were all these copycat grunge bands that followed his suit. And maybe they were around before this and they only gained popularity after this. Probably, I don't know. But none of them were very exciting. They were all kind of boring to me. People liked them, but none of the other bands really held my interest. And even Nirvana, after Nevermind, I just sort of was kind of never minded them. It really wasn't interesting. It was really this one album and this one song in particular that was just like amazing. It was amazing. Smells Like Teen Spirit, however, radio and overplayed and popular it became when it came out, it was amazing. And that was all about this. So yeah, early 90s, 91, 92, you can see here. North Node's moving away, but these are going to conjunct. Let's see. When do they conjunct? There we go. 93, January 10th, 93. They're conjunct. Yeah. So anyway, that's interesting. That was fascinating. If you have a strong Uranus, Neptune in Capricorn conjunction in your chart somewhere that's heavily aspected, then you are a grunge baby. That's what I can say. You're a grunge baby. You personify grunge if you have this well aspected in your chart. And Kurt Cobain is sort of like your godfather. Anyway, whatever. Never mind. All right. That's it for now, guys. I hope you found this interesting. And, you know the thing. Like, subscribe. Book a reading, macroastrology.com. macrogoldmachine@yahoo.com. All right, that's it for now. Thanks. Bye.